For the table, you will need the weight of the unknown, the weight of the benzophenone, freezing point of the pure benzophenone, freezing point of the mixture, freezing point depression, which is represented by this equation, and then the molality of the solution containing the unknown, which is represented by this equation, and then the number of moles of unknown used, which is represented by this equation, and the molecular weight of the unknown, which is represented by this equation. To ensure lab safety, we want to make sure we have our lab coat and lab goggles. We first want to get our weighing paper and then our spatula scoop, and then we want to place the weighing paper on the scale. We then want to tare the scale for accuracy. Then we're going to get our benzophenone and start measuring this out. Once our scale estimately weighs 3 grams, we're all set. We now want to locate a clean test tube, a thermometer, a wire stirring accessory, and a laboratory stand. We then want to place our test tube in the clamp and secure our test tube on the laboratory stand. We then want to place our 3 grams of benzophenone in our test tube. We now want to obtain a 250 milliliter beaker halfway full of tap water and heat it on a hot plate for approximately 5 to 10 minutes. We are now going to begin the process of melting our solid benzophenone in our test tube. So we are keeping our beaker on the hot plate so the process of melting the solid benzophenone will be faster. We are now going to agitate the benzophenone in our test tube with our wire stirring accessory to expedite the process of melting. Once our benzophenone has turned into a liquid, we are finished with the stirring process. We are now going to place our warm beaker on a wire gauze. Then we're going to put our hot plate back in place, turn it off, and unplug it to ensure lab safety. To create an ice bath, locate a 250 milliliter beaker and fill it with ice. We then are going to place our liquid benzophenone in an ice bath. Next, place your thermometer in your test tube. Once our test tube becomes cloudy, we are going to take our test tube out of the ice bath. We are now going to record the resultant temperature. We want to make sure we are recording our data throughout the experiment. We now want to repeat the process of locating our weighing paper, scooping spatula, and now our unknown substance. We first want to place a weighing paper on the scale, tare it for accuracy, and now we want to place our unknown on the scale. We estimately want 1 gram. We now want to plug our hot plate back in and place our water beaker back on the hot plate and let that heat for about 5 to 10 minutes. In a clean test tube, we are pouring 1 gram of our unknown solution. We now want to place our test tube of the unknown substance into our hot water beaker so it liquefies. We now want to agitate our unknown substance for a faster melting process. We want to stop mixing when our solid becomes a clear liquid. As done before, we want to put our beaker on a wire gauze, put our hot plate back in place, turn off our hot plate, and unplug our hot plate for lab safety. We now want to place our liquefied unknown substance into an ice bath. We want to place our thermometer in the test tube, and then we wait. After the test tube has become cloudy, we then want to record our temperature. Now it's time for cleanup. We do not want to place our liquids in the sink. We want to place them in the liquid waste. Before you leave, make sure your professor gives you a signature of approval for your data.